Hello humans, Master Interflex here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and today we will be going over Monarchs. Now, one of the reasons I decided to even have this deck on the chopping block, because to put it quite frank, that poll, 50% of the time I checked on it, it was a tie, and the other half, this was barely ahead, so this ultimately won. But regardless, the other day I was streaming, and someone wanted me to look at their Monarch deck, and the moment I did, it was Domain Monarch, and it had, like, a bunch of Vanity's Fiends, and, like, Domain, and the only thing I could say is, like, I already tried the Domain version a while ago, and that deck foundationally cannot win if it is forced to play out 3 games to have a win. Like, to put it as simple as I can, Domain Monarch doesn't work going second, and cannot play out a full 3 games. It just can't. So, there's just never a reason to do it, and you'll see why once I get into it more. But the Monarch cards themselves are actually very powerful. Even, like, though some of these are, like, pretty much 10 years old, like, they still hold up pretty well. The bigger problem is when you commit your deck to ultimately being around this floodgate that you have to set up to even establish, like, you're just going to lose to all the side deck cards in the world, you're never going to do anything going second, and it's just very, very weak. So, regardless, we'll get into this deck list, and I will say, this deck may have pushed itself too far in the other direction, because, like, I said floodgate list, I wasn't being like, oh, no Domain, no Vanity's Fiend. I mean, I'm not even playing Droll and Lockbird and Lancia in this deck list to prove there are no floodgates in it. Because what I want to do is show you the power of Monarchs without throwing in non-games. And that's kind of the point with this. Also, I will say, there are other engines you can and arguably should put in this deck list. But the reason I'm just committed to this lineup exactly is I wanted a pure Monarch deck. If you said, I want to play Monarchs, this is your deck list. Because it doesn't try to play another deck as well. Because there's ultimately a bunch of other engines you can put in this deck. With the idea that you have 15 cards down here. Like, a perfect example is the K9 package, the Dragon Tail package. You could absolutely play, like, Gym Knights, because you're given even more normal summons. Like, it's just things like that. But regardless, let's get into it. 2 Erebus. Yes, 2 in this deck, because it is so common for you to double Erebus your opponent's hand turn 1. So this, like, in this kind of build, you absolutely want to, and you need 2 of them specifically, because when you double Erebus your opponent's hand, like, you need 2 in that process. 2 copies. Aether is, like, the only one you can truly put at 1. But I think the utility of Aether, summoning another Aether for your opponent's turn, is just very, very powerful, and I don't want that out of the deck list. However, I will say, of course, if you decide to put in other packages, like, this is one of the first cards you cut, is the second Aether. And then we got 2 Eidos. Very important for get your engine going. It's a semi-starter, but it also just, like, it's part of your inboard, because you're going to search Monarchic Perfection, and if you already have it, you'll then go for Striking the Monarchs. This is both of them are very powerful inboard pieces. And I'll explain both of these later, but yeah. Eidos very powerful. Now here's where it gets a little weird. For the final 2 Monarchs, one is Caius, and basically it's because this card is much more powerful than you would expect. It's so powerful, in fact, I think this deck should play Thestalos. Not Thestalos, Zaborg. But not the big Zaborg. I mean the OG GOAT format Zaborg. Because, quite simply, the ability to tribute summon one of the little Monarchs on your opponent's turn to clear a thing with Prime and Master Plan is so powerful. That's why Caius is in this deck list. To put it quite frank, like, this is such a powerful effect, to have it banished from the graveyard. And to have Caius means, if your opponent special summons a Dark, you can just banish it. But the problem is you're also running into a lot of lights with, like, Ryziel and Yummy. So I'm also thinking maybe you put in the OG Zaborg. Like, which is a crazy thing to say, but, like, I'm considering putting it up. Like, it's a genuine response. But regardless, Caius, it's also just a Monarch. Like, when it's all said and done, it's still a Monarch, which is still very important. And finally, the weirdest one, Witchcrafter Heine, it has Monarch stats, which is very important, even though it's a level 7. But the real truth is when you tribute summon Aether on your opponent's turn, Kuraz doesn't cut it. This gets a search that doesn't matter. This doesn't do anything. Caius doesn't do anything. Heine, if you have a spell in hand, it's a pop. So a lot of the times you can set up having like an Aether on your board still, tribute summon Aether on your opponent's turn, tribute the Adia, get back a spell, and then the Heine will just toss that spell you recycled to get a pop. And if it's Stormforth, then you just cleared 2 monsters by advancing your engine. And then finally, even when it goes back to the hand, it's another tribute summon for the follow-up. So it's just like, it's really synergetic with a lot of the things you have going on in this deck list. Tessera plays the entire Monarch deck outside of getting tribute summons, but this card just generates so many resources. So much tribute fodder. There's not much else to say besides that. 2 Adia. You could play 1. You can mix around this lineup a little bit, but I decided to go with this one. And you know what these cards do. They've been around for almost 10 years. And then still seeing Sacrifice, I was originally not playing this until I put 1 in the deck list. And it's probably, arguably, one of the strongest Squires in this deck list. Like, it's a constant, which is why I like Prime. Like, you can burn out of this package really quick, and you can even burn out of Tessera's really quick, but this will always be an active part as long as you just have a level 5 or higher in your hand. And that's just very easy to do. So yeah, this card's very powerful. It's very much like Prime, where it is just always going to be reliable fodder for every turn. So yeah. And then we got Perulia, just Charmies, because it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Ruler no more because it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And we got Pantheism, Revolt, which is a 1 card that plays your entire deck list because you just dump Erebus, Adios, and Tessera, and that's your entire deck list just placed right there, and that's obnoxious. Anyways, so we got Pantheism, Revolt, and then Master Plan. This is just a better Tenacity, if we're being totally honest, because Tenacity is straight up like a blank. It searches once you can already kind of play, and that's just really dumb. Like, if you're going to put in other engines, this is a card you straight up cut in its entirety. But regardless, because this can dump Pantheism, it can actually get you to the card you want. And then once you already have that, Master Plan can dump Prime. And then it also allows itself to be in the graveyard to tribute summon Kaios on your opponent's turn. Then Tenacity, I already explained. Monarch Stormforth, you'd absolutely... Realistically, you can play 1, but like I said, this is like a pure Monarch deck, so like playing more than 1 is pretty good. And then we got Return of the Monarchs, pretty good. I don't ever want to play Kuraz, but I do see the value in having a way to turn this off sometimes. But regardless, like, this is kind of just like, it's an extra. You can absolutely, when you put in other engines, cut this one, because I would argue this card is much better. Striking the Monarchs is absolutely insane. Not even for the fact that it's an Omni-Negate, it's the fact that it allows your tribute summon to dodge in the moment it needs to. And that sounds a little weird to say, but like, if you're getting hit with like this random Valor or Imperm, having a way to just like dodge it is insane. That's one of the best parts. It's not even that it's like a part of your end board. It's the fact that it's like a part of a way to play going second. There's just a lot of really cool utilities. And because the most important aspect is dodging, even if they ash it because it does draw a card, like, the main purpose was still served. So that's like why it's in the deck list. And then also, if it's part of your end board, it's just like an Omni-Negate. Which, if you don't know what this card does, tribute 1 face-up level 5 or higher normal summon set monster. Target a face-up card on the field, negate its effects until the end of the turn, then draw 1 card. And then it has a graveyard effect to change the attribute of everything on field, which, if you like play Mega Zaborg, that can be very relevant, but otherwise, no. Not super important. It's kind of like Adios, where it really just doesn't matter that much. Adios' attribute change. And then finally we have Prime, very important. Then Monarchic Perfection, which is like a trap card that is an inboard in its entirety already. Like, what if Domain did something, pretty much. Because this is like up to 6 interactions, and they're all very powerful interactions. You usually build your way up to what is the most effective interaction. Like, if all you need to do is take that monster off the board, you start with Zaborg's effect, which is up here. If this card needs to be gone, then you decide to use, like, the Banish or the Ryza. Like, early on, you can try to hit a random card in your opponent's hand, and then, like, back row can matter. That's basically it. Like, you try to value which interaction is the most effective at which time. But, like, don't burn your Banish if all you really need to do is take it off the board. That's kind of like how you play this card. Save the most important interactions for the most important moments. The extra deck... It's cards, like, even though it's like, yay, I finally get to play an extra deck, you can still go entire games without using it. But regardless, it is so powerful to have. Like, making Relinquished to take something after using Tessera is so nuts. Even linking off a Tessera, just to do so is nuts. Turning a Prime into Link Spider into SP turn 3 is really powerful. Having access to Typhons, plural, is very powerful in this kind of deck. Having this package to just end the game, and this is also a, what's it called out? The dumb new Lunalight deck. And then you got the Shaddoll package because it's here in the side. Even though this side deck is absolutely not complete, you can play Shaddolls, which this can be used to stop a, what's his name, Detonator. And then you just have a floating construct. You can also summon a Apocalyphone, and then also negate more cards, and then you just should all pop, negate, and just a lot. Super Poly is also really cool, because not only is it a going second card, but even if you decide to main deck it, if you lock yourself out of the extra deck that turn, your opponent's turn, you're not, so you can just Super Poly away their stuff, and then, like, if you summon a Garura, you can go ahead and Aether, tribute that, get a draw in the process, so you can chain block it, which is really nice. Then finally, one package I would recommend in the future, which I guess you can do it now, especially if you want to do Zaborg stuff, but I would wait until we get this card, to put it quite frank. But into your Servant, you can go ahead, search Maximus, dump a bunch of Goopy Galop, and call it a day. But once we get this card, which is just a hand trap for this deck that sets Punishment, or even Dogmatica Beast, which I need to go over these cards separately in their own video sometime, in, like, control-based decks. This card is ridiculous. But I don't think this package is particularly powerful until we get these, because this is like, this can go ahead and summon Fleur-de-Lis, which can set Punishment, and that's just a lot of interactions on your opponent's turn. But it also, like, I haven't thought out the exact situation, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's a way to Dogmatica Punishment your opponent turn 0, and then tribute summon Aether turn 0. Like, I think that's a real possibility that might be in the cards, but I would still need to do some more theorying with that, because if there's a punishment target that allows you to just make a temporary body for Aether, that'd be insane. But regardless, that's going to be it from the deck. Thank you all for watching. If you only enjoyed this video, I should have a few replays at the end to kind of show you how this deck works. But if you, like, want a pure Monarch deck, this is exactly how you'd go about it, and I think this deck's really cool. Like, despite the fact that it's almost 10 years old, the cards still feel very effective, because it's just such genuinely effective support. And even though they're almost 10 years old, they were at least made during the time period where Konami finally recognized, hey, let both players play on both turns, and that's why it's a little more compatible than, like, say, Gladiator Beast, where that deck is just a one-and-done, pump-and-dump combo deck. Whereas this deck, like, these cards were, like, designed to let you play on both turns, like, from the get-go of the structure deck. So that works out well for them in the end. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master and Reflex will take your soul.
City.